Nice. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready to start the thing. All you know, we have a big rally and a big thing tomorrow in Los Angeles, right? Right, so we're expecting everybody to come out. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is serious time. So people, wherever you are, I want all of us to kind of keep silent, because this is the time for us to, ladies and gentlemen, everybody, I want us to reverence God. It is important for us to reverence our Maker. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to pray and usher in the presence of the Most High, because it is important for us to recognize God in everything we do and say. So right about now, we're getting ready to call a young lady to say the prayer for us. Ladies and gentlemen, as she comes to the stage, Sister Sherry, make some noise for her.
A pleasant good evening to everybody. Hello, hello. Good evening. Let's pray. All right. Can we have some silence on this left side here? What a mighty God we serve. What an awesome God we serve. What a faithful God we serve. Father, we give you thanks and we give you praise in no other name but in the mighty name of Jesus. That at the name of Jesus every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. Thank you, Lord, again for this wonderful island of Grenada that you have blessed us with, carry through an extension, Perdmontemps. We thank you for this lovely village and surrounding of Perdmontemps. And Lord, we ask you, as we continue to trust you, for our country to see a brighter future with a bright, young, intelligent young man. We pray, God, that the future will look bright for the next generation and the next generation to come. We pull down every stronghold of the enemy and we claim victory in the name of Jesus. And we thank you, Lord, whatever plans the enemy planned for them, for him and his cabinet members and his colleagues, we ask that the Spirit of the Lord will encamp around them and we pull down every stronghold in the name of Jesus. Father, we thank you for the police officers in a very special way as they're going to go on Monday to do their civil duty for the nation. We pray that you will give them wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, Lord, to know that Grenada belongs to each and every one of us. And we need to put you forward, Lord, in everything that we do. We pray for our political leader and the strength and the vigor and the vitality. We pray that you will protect him from the hands of the enemy, and no weapon formed against him will ever, never prosper. We thank you and we bless you in no other name but in the mighty name of Jesus. And everyone say, amen.
Somebody say amen. And if we are Rasta man, somebody say Jah. And if we are Muslim, what you say? Yeah, I have a brother that is a Muslim. Yeah. Give thanks and praises, man. Anybody here believe in God? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, on a very serious note, you know, this election is a serious election. Forget all the hype and all the yellow jerseys, but think about Grenada and the next generation. The truth of the fact is, wearing a jersey cannot really make us win an election. The truth is, yes, we love the party and we're energetic and we're feeling good and we're representing, but just wearing the jersey alone, we cannot win an election by jerseys. We got to get out, we got to pray, we got to encourage people, we got to be nice to people, and of course we have to have good plans as well to push Grenada forward, right? Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready to play the anthem. But I want you to think about the next generation. I want you to think about your grandchildren and your great-grand. The way Grenada going right now, if Grenada continue like this, I am sorry for my grandchildren. I'm very serious about this. And I'm not talking politics now. Yes, you may say I'm on a stage representing NDC, but this is coming from me now, not NDC. If we put back these people in government, I'm sorry for Grenada. But I know they will not get back. They will not get back in power. You know why? Because the voice of the people is the voice of God. The voice of the people is the voice of God. And somebody said, the enemy chains is broken down already. So ladies and gentlemen, as we're getting ready to play that anthem, I want you to think about Grenada. I want you to think about the mistakes we made in the past. I want you to think about rectifying as we're moving forward. So ladies and gentlemen, put your hands on your heart. Think and meditate about Grenada. Right? Just before the anthem is being played. So Mr. DJ.
Let's be chillin' we like it. Young, intelligent, full of ideas. The best of chillin' we like it. Digging the chillin' tell you no lie.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rectify that. Mr. DJ, I want you to listen to me very carefully. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going nice so far. Somebody say new government! Alright, I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, we have some speakers here. I'm going to bring out a gentleman. All you know him as a trade unionist. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome on stage Mr. Mason. All you make some noise for Mr. Mason, man. Come on, man.
Good evening, Perdmontemps. I say good evening, Perdmontemps. Good evening, La Femme. Good evening, Windsor Forest. Good evening, Barrett. Do you have Barrett in the house? Okay. Ten years ago, my mother told me, George, I don't want you to preach politics. I want you to preach for God. I said, yes, mommy. She died 6 years ago. And I decided that I'm going to keep the promise, keep the vow I made to my mother. And my mother hails from Windsor Forest. Miss Ophelia and Marina are my family. Ophelia is my aunt. Marina is my cousin. Defender is my brother. Was my brother. So when I speak to you tonight, I am speaking to you as one of you. And I'm speaking to you so that you could understand and make an intelligent decision. First of all, the police officers, Monday, and the general public on Thursday. I'm going to speak to you from several fronts. I'm going to speak to you on trade union issues. I'm going to speak to you on governance issues. I'm going to present to you who is Declan Mitchell. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to unravel and debunk the myth that NDC did nothing when they were in office. So these are the areas I'm going to cover tonight. But what made me really pick up this mic was when I heard a minister, but he's no longer a minister. He's an MP. Because once Parliament dissolved, the honorables and the other things died with it. But when I hear Mr. Gregory Boyd said in La Sagesse that Declan Mitchell's proposal to address the pension matter was a threat. When I heard Mr. Boyd said that that was a threat, I said I had to pick up the guns again. Sisters and brothers, 37 years ago, this pension issue has been a burning concern. 37 years ago, in 1985, February 1985, the new National Party acknowledged the attempt that was being made by the PRG to disqualify workers from being pensionable. 37 years ago. But how did that come about, sisters and brothers? For children under 30 years, you wouldn't know. Because we never tell you about what happened during the PRG. Because it ended so bloody that we were afraid to talk about it. And because of our silence, our reticence, we have had a regime, an institution riding roughshod over us. In 1983, in April of 1983, and I want you all to listen very carefully. In April 1983, the PRG decided that carpenters, masons, secretaries, technicians, and every other walk of life professionally should be eligible for a pension. Only policemen and women, teachers, doctors, nurses, and other public officers were eligible for pension. And that pension is enshrined in our Constitution. But in April 1983, the PRG decided that they're going to disqualify that pension. But by October 1983, the PRG killed itself. The PRG killed itself. So the Constitution which was suspended had to be returned, has to be reinvoked. had to be brought back in order to have general election. Now, the election was held sometime in December of 1984. The new National Party, which was formed in St. Vincent and comprised 3 different parties, won the election. They got 14 seats, and the GULP got 1 seat. That was in December of 1984. In February 1985, the smart men and women who comprised the 14 NNP MPs decided that they're going to bring back everything in the Constitution except the pension. But you know what those scams did? They decided to make a pension for themselves with a gratuity, if you please. Because the pension that was enshrined and is enshrined in the Constitution has a gratuity attached to it. So what those wise guys and gals did in 1985 in February was to approve the disqualification of the pension, which they found on their desk when they assumed political office in 1984. But not only that, as Parliament has been dissolved some 4 or 5 weeks ago, the members of Parliament and the senators became eligible for over $70,000. So as we are sitting here, we are standing here, we are drinking, and we just enjoying ourselves, these people have their hands out to collect a check of over $70,000. Because what they did in 1985 was to make themselves eligible that every term, whether 4 years or 5 years, they will be eligible for that gratuity. And upon reaching the age of 55, they'll be eligible for not only gratuity, but pension. I want you to listen. I want you to listen. So, the unions rebelled. The union that represented teachers, police officers, prison officers, and public officers rebelled. And they decided that the Constitution still upheld. The Constitution still upheld the pension with a 25% gratuity. And they took the matter to court. Nobody was willing to come to court until some years later, when Miss Homelin Armstrong decided that she wanted to test the law. And she won. She won. But she was not compensated as she ought to until recently, when the unions went back and the matter was taken to the Privy Council again. This time it was brought to the Privy Council under a different heading. And then we had Justice Glasgow. Justice Glasgow in our court. Justice Glasgow in our court handing down the judgment that the government, the new National Party government, owes the pensioners their pension. And to hear Mr. Bosun say that if government decides to borrow, to pay those people who are in their 70s, who are now diabetic, who are suffering from kidney problems, who need medication. When Mr. Bosun said that that was a threat, I tell you, I had to pick up the mic again. Because that is not only an immoral stand, an ethical stand, it is a dangerous stand. And the NNP is a dangerous government. But that's not all. That's not all. They not only do not want to pay the elderly, I will also tell you, but they're ripping off the youth. So, in 2010, the brewery workers took strike action. The strike lasted for 4 days. After the strike was resolved, the company locked the workers out. And then it was discovered in the law that the company can lock the workers out until reasonable time. And that was used by the NNP in the campaign against the NDC. So the NNP won the election in 2013. And as a trade unionist, we were all hoping that that matter of reasonable time will be addressed. They not only won 2013 with all the seats, they won in 2018 with all the seats. And 2 weeks ago, Dr. Mitchell said in last suggest, vote him back and he go address it. Give me a break. 2 terms, 9 years, nothing was done. 2 terms, 15 seats, nothing was done. That man love you? Does the other Mitchell love you? And that's not all. That's not all. Most recently, a matter was taken to the Privy Council where the union wanted to a determination as to whether when a worker is dismissed wrongfully, if that matter can be taken to our local court. So the matter went right up to the Privy Council. The union took that matter to the Privy Council. But before the matter went to the Privy Council, the lawyer representing the company said to the union, boy, you can't win that case. You have to change the law. And you all have 15 seats. Let the politicians change the law. The politicians refuse to change the law. Now they say, 2 weeks ago, vote them, and they will change it. Where are we going with that? Where are we going with that? They want to change the law. No! I have workers who are affected. There are workers in this vicinity who lost their job because one morning the company said, well, they reach 55 years, tomorrow you have to go. Because you're 55, so I send you home and early retirement. Then it was found that the matter could not be taken to court because the labor code does not allow for you workers to take your matter to the labor code, to the high court. The labor code, I want to repeat it, I made a mistake. The labor code does not make provision for you to take matters affecting your employment to the court. And that's where we are as a nation. And you are telling me that a man coming and tell you, give him one for the road, but give him a passport and tell him bye-bye. 20 years you've been there. 20 years, now you're making plans for the youth. 20 years you've been there, now you're making plans for everybody else. 20 years you've been there, now you're saying, give me one for the road. Where are you going with that? I say, where are we going with that? Comrades, sisters and brothers, my dear people, you have a choice. You have a choice. And the power is in your hand. The power is in your hand. Dr. Mitchell, sorry, the other Mitchell said that he's going to pay the pension. All those who are eligible for this year will get the pension. That's what he says. And all those who are eligible for the pension next year, he the budget. However, he said that will only happen if there is cash. So what he's saying is that that is not a guarantee. The convention is saying that we have to borrow, we have to sell treasury bills and raise the money because the government owes the people, because the people work hard, the people need the money, and the government has an obligation to pay these workers who need the money right now. So are you going to put back this NNP into office? Are you going to put the other Mitchell into power? And I continue. So that is for the pension. They would not pay the pension. They would not pay the pension. Deacon Mitchell said that you're going to borrow, and that's the only hope you're going to be able to satisfy those people, the thousands of people who are eligible for the pension. Pay the pensioners their money. Come up with a plan as to how you can pay those that are going now and those that are going later. Don't take a chance with Dr. Mitchell. The other Mitchell said, any government that continues to tax these people is a stupid government. And as soon as he comes in power, he imposed 15 different taxes. That's the man we're talking about. That's the man we're talking about. Don't play with your children's future. I gone already, you know. I going down. I'm in my 60s. What I'm frightened for is the children. Additionally, sisters and brothers, they have run out of ideas. They have been occupying the seat of power and they have run out of ideas. The Mitchell said that there should be a jetty in Victoria because the people of Victoria do a lot of fishing. Perhaps they say there will be a jetty. The Mitchell said that the unestablished workers should be established and there should not be two public service. The father meeting and say they are organizing a committee to look at that because Dick Mitchell said that. Dick Mitchell said what we as trade journalists have been saying for years, that the Imanis should be afforded opportunities where they can be able to go to the bank and they can be able to get loans for educational purposes, for housing, for land. Dick Mitchell said that, and perhaps they put money in the GDP for that purpose. Well, if Dick Mitchell have all the ideas, sisters and brothers, my dear people, let us vote Dick Mitchell as the next Prime Minister. Because he has the ideas. They have run out of ideas. Let's chase them out at home, once and for all. And as I continue, the government agreed with the trade union for a 4% increase over 3 years. A 4% increase over 3 years. So 4% 2019, 4% 2020, 4% 2021. Yet, when it came time to pay the workers their money, they made the teachers go right around the country demonstrating, asking for the money in the rain and in the sun. And while the teachers were demonstrating, the Treasury had collected a surplus of $81 million. They told the teachers they can't get the money, but there was a surplus in the Treasury of $81 million. How can that be right? Can you go back and vote these people into office? You have to be sick. You have to be sick. Either you're sick in the head or they are sick in the head, and both of us stupid. Sisters and brothers, they are saying NDC pay late, NDC did this, NDC did nothing. But I can tell you from reliable information I've received that the late payment for salary was a deliberate act of sabotage. It was done to make the government look bad. But I want to tell you, 14 years now they're building the the St. George's Market. 14 years now, work is being done on the St. George's Market. When the NDC was in power, in one term, they did the Grenville Market. When the NDC was in power, in one term, they did the Grenville bus terminal. When the NDC was in power, the biggest and most troublesome piece of road repair that was needed was in the Northwest constituency of the other Mitchell. The other Mitchell was afraid to even touch it. When the NDC came into power, NDC said Kenny's trucking went and do the work. While the work was being done, the road collapsed. The other Mitchell tell people, go past there, they can take off on it. And today, that is the best piece of road on the western side, thanks to the NDC. The NDC said we're going to have free school books, and when they won, they introduced free school books. So when they are saying that all the NDC have is pie in the sky, we want to tell them, we're going to make those pie in the sky that is in their head, we're going to bring it on people's plates. This is what the NDC is about. Sisters and brothers, as we prepare for the election, I want to tell you that we have something going on in the country where we don't know what is party and what is government. We do not know what is party and what is government. So right now, we are campaigning. And the parliament is dissolved. When the parliament is dissolved, all the organs and branches of the party that was operating under government goes back to the party. So the party offices of the NNP are supposed to be paid by the NNP. Are they being paid by the NNP now? Every job that has to be sought must be sought in the NNP office. Everything that has to be done through the NNP office. So there is no independence. So one doesn't know where government ends and where government begins. We have to stop that. We have to ensure that there is dignity in our civil service, that there is impartiality in our civil service. We have to ensure that whatever we do it so that there is no semblance of corruption. But as it stands now, no one knows what is happening. Everything is helter-skelter. Anything goes. And everybody happy and they beat in their chest. And one set of people eating our food. One set of people getting fat. And if you're NDC, you better stay back. That is what is happening in Grenada right now. Is it that you want for your children? Is it that you want for your children? I'm telling you, this is why I pick up the mic again. Because we cannot sit back and allow such things to happen in our country. We cannot sit back and say, well, you see me, I didn't do anything. And as I continue, I grew up and was the victim. I was a victim of Gary's police brutality. I was a victim of Gary's brutality. Most of you don't know about that. I came from studies one evening about 7 o'clock. And while on my way home, in the night, about 7:30, a light was just shone in my face. And then a man came out and the man said, oh, is he? I know him, man. And the man gave me 2 planners. That was a secret police. So I know what it is to be the victim of perfect action. In Gary days, you knew you may be beaten. You knew you may be transformed. And some people who were transformed by Gary were told, go on and watch monkey. So he sent them in places where it was lonely and only monkeys were there. So I know what it is, what to expect from Gary. I know what it was to expect from the PRG. If you go against the PRG, you know you're holding up fail. But sisters and brothers, under this government, They're not beating you, they're not chilling you, but they're making sure you suffer. They're making sure NDC ain't get one job. They're making sure that you whittle and die. That is what they are doing. And you have to open your eyes. You have to take charge of your future and of the future of your children. Sisters and brothers, we cannot allow this one for the road to be an anthem so that one man can go triumphantly. No, we are saying let him go now, and let him have an enjoyable ride into the sunset. We have to vote the new Mitchell. We have to vote Deacon Mitchell. And who is Deacon Mitchell? Who is Deacon Mitchell? Deacon Mitchell is a humble, ordinary young man. He should be put on a billboard. He should be put on the silver screen because he represents poor people rising up to become the top. The work that Deacon Mitchell has been doing, and he closed his office to work with us, the working class, to bring a new day for us. But the work he was doing in my time growing up is a white man, a white company that did the kind of work for employers. And today we have an ordinary young man who sold gas by Ulala right across there. He sold gas there. He went to the hotel and washed dishes. He grew up hard. His mother didn't own anything. The other Mitchell father owned a sugar mill. And when you own a sugar mill, you're a proprietor. So he was an ordinary man. But this Deacon, the Deacon Mitchell that we have with us, the new Mitchell that we have, he grew up from poverty. He grew up poor. And he understands what it is to be poor. And because he understands what it is to be poor, and he understands what it is to be rich, he is the best person to take our country forward. Sisters and brothers, the man has no love for the elderly. He has no love for the youth. Can you believe? Let me give you some stats. According to the NIS, there are close to 40,000 people employed in Grenada. Whether you're self-employed or you're working with private sector or the public sector, about 40,000. 25 to 30% of those workers earning less than $1,600 a month. Listen very carefully. They are earning less than $1,600 a month. Another 8 to 10% earning about 2,000. So when we are talking about love for youth, and you're offering youth $700 indefinitely, $700 indefinitely, are you showing love for the young people? When the most productive years are between 18 and 40. Between 18 and 40, they are being made to work for $700, and not only to work, you know, but some of them staying home. And as one former trade unionist tell me, he said that the handout mentality, which is now the order of the day in Grenada, will not engender creativity, nor will it give the youth any aspiration. So we have to change that. We have to change that, sisters and brothers. And I just heard that the young Tiffany, the best Mitchell, has arrived. Let me put our hands together and welcome the best Mitchell! Mr. TJ!
Do you want the society to be flat? Like we said, special and we like it. Young, intelligent, full of vibes. Keep it special and we like it. Deacon Mitchell, but tell you no lies. Oh gosh, Deacon intelligent, wow, he's so magnificent. Oh gosh, people he represent, yes, and he will not relent. Oh, we are the best special and we like it.
Yeah, put the hands together, put the hands together. Put the hands together. Here we go, here we go.
Deacon Mitchell, but tell you no lies. We are the best special and we like it. Young, intelligent, full of vibes. The best special and we like it. Deacon Mitchell, but tell you no lies. Oh gosh, Deacon intelligent, wow, he's so magnificent. Oh gosh, people he represent, yes, and he will not relent. Oh gosh, the country at hand, not that opinion that is a fact. Deacon the future, right? Go vote, go vote, go vote, go vote. We vote in the heart, the heart, the heart, the heart. Go vote, go vote, go vote, go vote. Alright, stick it right by the heart. We have the best picture and we like it. Young, intelligent, full of vibes. The best picture and we like it. Deacon Mitchell won't tell you no lie. We have the best picture and we like it. Young, intelligent, full of vibes. The best picture and we like it. Deacon Mitchell won't tell you no lies.
Okay.
Deacon for Prime Minister.
Okay, DJ. Put it on, put it on. Yes. And I was just speaking about him. That's the man. That's the man to take us to the future. What a man asks you for. Let me ask any woman here. PAW 323. You're blocking somebody. PAW 323. Please, Pronto, have that quarantined immediately. We're right now, we sit down. Yeah, we sit down right now. But let me tell you all. If you go and do stupidness, in the police station, and anything happen to you that you don't want, because any viewing, you should call that self-inflicted injury. That is self-inflicted injury. Because I tell you, I warn you, he ain't like youth, he ain't like the elderly, he ain't like to pay, and he will not pay the pension. He didn't change the law when the law had to be changed to make workers comfortable. But now he's saying he's going to change it. Vote Dickler Mitchell! Vote Dickler Mitchell! Vote Dickler Mitchell! And let Grenada go forward! A people united can never be defeated! A people united can never be defeated! A people united can never be defeated! God bless you all.
Somebody make some noise! Somebody say new Prime Minister! Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, I want you all to make some noise for Adrian Pasweda Thomas. He is our deputy political leader. Make some noise for the man. Pasweda, stand up, let the people see you, man. Yeah, man. That is the man there, sir. Somebody say Pasweda! Somebody say Pasweda! Yes, I am. We going nice. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Perdmontemps Junction, are they looking nice, boy? Perdmontemps Junction, say new Prime Minister. Say new Prime Minister. Alright, we going nice. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we have a gentleman on the inside. Everybody know him. He's smiling. All you see him on TV with the jacket. All you know who I'm talking about? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call them on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Mr. Cloudon!
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. You know what this night reminds me of? It reminds me of 1838, Emancipation Day, when our people was ameliorated from slavery, and the 23rd of June 2022 is reminiscent and reflective of our freedom, because on that day we would go to the polls, all of us and all Grenadians, recognize the fierce urgency of the moment. We have to take our country forward, and the best person to take us through it is Joshua. Look at him sitting right there, the deliverer, and he is going to deliver us. I shan't go into our history, but he is a God-sent man. Without him, what would have become of us? Everybody is afraid. Everybody eat out of the table. The crumbs dropping like Lazarus. They pick it up and they can't do anything. They have no security of tenure. They work as wardens. They can't go to the bank. They can't raise money. All of a sudden, you see them trying to repair roads all over the country. The time has reached when the Lord has sent us a deliverer. And I'm saying to the people of St. David and the wider area, the entire country, that one vote cast in the wrong direction can ruin the nation's economy and lead to bad government. So that on the 23rd, you vote for a deliverer in the person of Deacon Butcher, a dear friend of mine, in the fraternity. And I'm saying to you that you cast your vote for the NDC, or else we would continue with bad government. Any vote cast for the NMP now leads us to inevitable destruction. We have no economy. The rural economy has collapsed. The Caribou economy is nowhere. We're trying to get local government there, Caribou and Pidgin Martinique, so we can begin a renaissance, a revival of economic activity. There's no activity whatsoever anywhere in Grenada, Caribou and Pidgin Martinique. I should adopt the language of the distinguished gentleman, Pidgin Martinique, Caribou and Grenada. I'm telling you what, my good friend Deacon is a man of unpredictable potentialities and indeed a possessor of extraordinary charm. He doesn't need anybody. Look at his photograph on the telephone post, and every Grenadian must be delighted to see the transformation that is taking place. We're coming with young, brilliant, aggressive, committed, dedicated, honest, and trustworthy leadership. We don't want you to be caught with no briefcase with money in it. We don't want you to lie and tell people you're going to legalize marijuana for medicinal purposes, and you lie and you ain't do nothing about it. And I'm calling on all the Rastafarian community, wherever you are, stand firm and vote for change. And change is at your doorstep. Agriculturally, I can speak affirmatively to you on the prowess of this great man. Let me say this. When our next Prime Minister speaks of agriculture, when he speaks of activating the agricultural sector in all its forms, adopting in some instances added value to products, the George Brezen, our once Prime Minister, albeit for a short period, structural adjustment. When the Prime Minister in waiting speaks of activating and sensitizing the agricultural sector in all its forms, I can tell you that he likes agriculture too. Because he used to come up in Cocoa Mountain, where he had the land up there, and plant the food, take my water from the dam. So, look man, Grenada is blessed. You know, and there is a part of the book of Ecclesiastes, I don't want to be lengthy, that says whatever your hands find to do with all your might. Because there is no profit, there is no economy, there is nothing in the grave whence thou goest. And therefore, with Deacon Mitchell, he's a hard and indefatigable worker. That's all he does. He wins all his cases. And you hear these old simpletons speaking of him as well illegally held a corporate. Corporate law is one of the most difficult areas of law. And as few men, who could you point to in Grenada that you can say generally is a corporate attorney? Tell me, not one. So that people internationally come in and naturally they look for the best. And he is the best. And I said, and you can ask the deputy political leader right here, himself and well brother Angel, he hadn't come down, but they would remember I was at the Carolines, 12 o'clock, look at them shaking his head. What I'm telling you is the gospel truth. We in the NDC are trustworthy people. When we say something, we mean it. We don't go about talking idly. That's mental disability. He's going mental. He's going mental. So I was there having a little drink after court, dressed in my uniform. I sit down by Allison on the carnage, and up came the deputy political leader and Brother Andel. This was just before they went to the convention. And I asked them, I said, what did you do? I said, what you forget about this democracy foolishness all we're talking about it. Get in the back rooms. That's where the deal is being done. And put the man up, this is the best you all have. Look at him there, he could come and take the mic and say, this is the best God has sent him to deliver us. You all don't understand. Say, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful, but his delight is in the law of the Lord. This is such a man. This is the man that would deliver us. So people, Grenada, I should say Biggie Martin and Grenada, let us fulfill prophecy. They said a little black man would come from the northern Arizona. Let me take you back in history. They said a little black man would come from the north in times of crisis, in times of turmoil, as we are now experiencing, to lead us. And I call him the deliverer. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord take you through. And as Prime Minister, may you then assume the office in the interest of the people that will have put you there. Thank you. God bless all of y'all.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for one more time again for Mr. Clouder. All of the thing looking nice. You hold the way, Mr. Cloud, to speak with confidence and clarity. I want to make some noise again for Mr. Cloud, man. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring a lady to the microphone. She's a self-made businesswoman. She's the chief executive of Monkey Water. She's an award-winning entrepreneur. And of course, she is a community leader and an ex-senator. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you here at Perdmontemps a historical lady. Let me tell you why, because she made history. You see Monkey Water, all you know that they made a lot of awards, right? So give it up for Miss Rolanda. Miss Rolanda, Miss Rolanda, my queen.
How excited. I am so excited. I just don't know what to say. NDC, good evening. Good evening, good evening. It feels good, doesn't it? My brothers and sisters, I stand with you tonight, asking you to have the courage to choose change. What counts in leadership is not the number of years in politics, but the reach of our leader's vision. The strength of his belief and that rare quality of mind and spirit that can call forth the best in our country. It is time for a new generation of leaders. Mr. Mitchell, we thank you for answering the call. From the day I sat with you in your office, I decided to give you my full support. You inspire me. You inspire all of us. You have lifted our vision, summoned hope, and renew our belief that our country's best days are yet to come. I am convinced that together we can build a better future only if we are not petty. Let us replace the politics of fear and victimization with politics of hope. Let us have the courage to choose change. We want a Prime Minister who appeals to the hope of those who still believe in the solid foundation left to us by our ancestors. Let us build on it. Now we have a leader who can lift our spirit and make us feel proud again. We have a leader who refuses to be trapped in the patterns of the past. A leader who does not see green or yellow, NNP or NDC. A leader who cares passionately about the causes he believes in, without victimizing those with a different view. Let us close the book on the old politics. Let us close the door on politics that has written off the poor. Refuse to pay our teachers the increase they so deserve. Preventing the government service to go home without a pension after 25 years. And does little to prevent sexual abuse against our women and children. fellow Grenadian, we know the horrible conditions some of our people still live from day to day. Young mothers sell their bodies to feed their children. Youth unemployment continues to rise. Let us work together for prosperity. Let us look after our old and vulnerable. Let us make healthcare what it should be in Grenada, a fundamental right for all, not just an expensive privilege for the few. I am proud to stand and offer my help despite the victimization I face. I will continue to create jobs for my people. I will fight to overcome the obstacles they throw at me. I am here as a woman, a courageous Grenadian woman, to offer my energy, my voice, and my commitment to make Dickon Mitchell the next Prime Minister of Grenada, Carrickwood, and Perdmontemps. He has shown the courage to stand with the people of Grenada when so many others remained silent or simply went along. Dickon has given us a different campaign, a campaign not just about himself, but about all of us. A movement of hope, so let us rise above the stale and tired politics that put us into separate groups, that put us at odds with each other. Let us move on and move our island forward. Export market behind unrecognizable, as those we put there has no interest. Total disregard for agriculture, fishing, and our service industry, among others, including arts and culture. My people, let us avoid any party that will bribe you for your vote. The time has come to put an end to it. Party politics has us hating the people who has oppressed us and loving the people who are doing the oppressing. Let us remember that those who won our independence by revolution were not cowards. They did not fear political change. So let us believe in their dreams, even in the darkest hours. And let us have the courage to vote for the heart. Vote NDC on the 23rd. God bless you and God bless Grenada.
Yeah, man. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up again for Miss Rolanda McQueen. This is a lady that's spending a lot of money in Grenada. She invested a lot of money in Grenada. And we got to give it up for all of the investors in Grenada, yeah? Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready to bring up on stage a man who's representing St David's, a former parliamentarian, a former ambassador. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Mr. Jocelyn Whiteman.
Thank you very much indeed, KJ. KJ, thank you. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Dickon Mitchell, leader of the NDC and next Prime Minister for Grenada, Carrickwood, and Perdmontemps. The Deputy Political Leader, Mr. Persuader, Lady Rolanda McQueen, and all my other colleagues on the platform. I am very, very pleased indeed to be here tonight to give you a story that will put the final nail in Dr. Mitchell's political career. Ladies and gentlemen, when Stockton tell you, Azangui tell you Griff is sick, then you must believe the Zangui. I have lived with Dr. Mitchell for some time. And in fact, I can tell you today, some people ask me, why now? But ladies and gentlemen, you see, the great Sir Winston Churchill was not always a member of the Conservative. There was a time when he was part of the Liberal Party. And after many years, he quit the Liberal and joined the Conservative and became one of the top prime ministers that has ever lived. So I'm not married to Dr. Mitchell, never married to him, although I slept in bed with him. And that is true, not what you're thinking. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been associated with the New National Party from the time it was formed in 1984. When we had a group in London which was called the NDC Support Group. And when we had to send 2 persons to the first convention, we had no money, or the group had no money. And I volunteered and gave them 2 tickets for the very first convention. Dr. Mitchell he received an invitation to Paris to attend a meeting with Mr. Jacques Chirac. And again, he wanted to take someone with him. But the party had no money. I said, Dr. Mitchell, I will go at my expense, and I did. During the election campaigns when I ran a few times, Dr. Mitchell said to me, just you can manage. And he gave me very little. Some of the strategies that the NNP is using today were ideas that I gave them, and they're using them up to today. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you publicly, Dr. Mitchell is a fake. He was always a fake. And my only regret in life is that I have taken too long to find him out. Dr. Mitchell don't have your interest at heart. Whenever, you see, as a strategist, he analyzes everything that he does. And he will only take the final decision if he realizes that he will benefit from whatever decision he takes. Ladies and gentlemen, I was the Minister of Agriculture, Lands, Forestry and Fisheries. I'm telling you that because I see lots of young people here. I was the Minister of Tourism and Civil Aviation. I was the Minister of Implementation. Ladies and gentlemen, I was also the first ambassador for China, where I spent 3 years. I served in England on 2 occasions as the High Commissioner to the Court of St James at Buckingham Palace. Ladies and gentlemen, Jocelyn Whiteman and my dear wife, we have served this country well. But when Dr. Mitchell sent me to London in 2013, he said to me, I am sending you to London, but I will not give you traveling allowance. I will not give you family allowance, and I will not give you housing allowance. Ladies and gentlemen, I stayed in a little room about 9 by 12 with no kitchen, and I shared the toilet with the people in the house as the High Commissioner for Grenada. A friend of mine, who was also a very close friend of Grenada, visited me, and he says, where do you live? I said, that's my home. He said, what do you mean? I said, yes, that's my home. He went away, and after about 6 weeks he came back, and he gave me a bunch of keys. He said, Joss, here is the key for your home. I said, what do you mean? The government wouldn't pay? How much we have to pay? He said, Joss, I'm not talking about money, this is your home. And at the end of the day, he said to me, Joss, based on what you have done for Grenada, and based on what you have done for me as an individual, this is payback time. I can't pay you for the things you've done for me. And I moved into that house. Dr. Mitchell was passing in front of the house once or twice per month, visiting Mr. Charter, who was sick in England. And I said to Dr. Mitchell, why don't you pop in to see where I live? Dr. said, Joss, what am I popping in there for? The times I have served in London, Dr. Mitchell has never been to the mission. And up to today, he has not been to the mission in London. You know, Dr. Mitchell was taking his mother to meet the Pope. And you know something? Dr. Mitchell was living in a fancy hotel in a place like Hyde Park. You know where his mother lived? Both herself and her son stayed with me. in a house that was given to me by a friend. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Mitchell is without doubt the most selfish individual. He does not have the interests of Grenada at heart. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Mitchell can't call my name. You all know I've served St David and Grenada well. Tell Dr. Mitchell call my name. He can't, because 100% of the things I state are true. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I'm here once again to endorse Mr. Dickon Mitchell. Mr. Dickon Mitchell is a visionary. I put on my radio a few days ago to listen to an NNP meeting, and I turned up the radio after 10 or 12 minutes. Because all Dr. Mitchell is talking, pardon the expression, shit. You know, Dr. Mitchell has gone past it. You see, ladies and gentlemen, as far as Dr. Mitchell is concerned, he has parliamentary immunity. And as long as he is there, like Mr. Trump, they can't touch him. But Dr. Mitchell needs to be investigated. And he needs to give account for all the wrongs he has done to Grenadians and the Grenadian economy. Ladies and gentlemen, on the 23rd, is it the 23rd? Let's go to the polls in numbers. Let us get up very early. Lots of the NDC people tend to go to the polling station. They see a long line and they go home. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you here tonight that the NNP is easy to beat. When you look at the number of people who did not vote in so many elections, ladies and gentlemen, once we have a big turnout, we will take 9, maybe 10, we might even take all. You know something? People are taking to Dickon Mitchell by storm. In fact, Dr. Mitchell rang the bell because he was supposed to. And he was showing off, he's going to ring the bell. At his convention, last convention, he said, we're not giving them one damn seat. As though Dr. Mitchell thinks Grenadians are fool. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Mitchell is not acting in your best interest. This election is all about to do with his legacy and not the further development of Perdmontemps, Carriacou, and Grenada. So once again, we have a big platform tonight, but I just wanted to give you the story. But I'm not sure if I told you, when I came back to Grenada the last time, Dr. Mitchell did not pay me. You know, the government of Grenada did not pay me. So I want to let you know that Dr. Mitchell will not pay the teachers. He don't believe in paying. Did he pay Dr. Charles? Did he pay Miss Ben Thomas? Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Mitchell is all about himself. So tell your friends, tell your family, let's go out on election day and give the NDC a resounding approval. Once again, I thank you. And just before I go, I want to apologize to the people of Carriacou, because I was really looking forward to going to Carriacou. I missed the boat yesterday, and I got on the Amelia. I was the only passenger on the Amelia. In fact, I had to pay $100 for the first ticket, and I had to pay $50 for Amelia. I wanted to be there, but at least I got in Carriacou just in time to catch the Osprey to come back. I just had to be there. Once again, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up. I call him a veteran. Give it up again for the veteran, Mr. Justin Wrightman. We're happy to have you. Alright, we're going nice so far. Are you enjoying it so far? Perdmontemps, make some noise! Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I want all you to know something. Our Prime Minister, soon to be inaugurated, is Mr. Dickon Mitchell, right? But I tell you something, We have a gentleman that is a deputy political leader of the National Democratic Congress, Mr. Adrian Thomas. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot of intelligent and wonderful people here. You know what? Let me just pick up Miss Possum. Make some noise for Miss Possum right to the back there. Who else? Who else are missing out? All the executive members of the National Democratic Congress, all the hard workers. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring on a gentleman to speak to you. Ladies and gentlemen, he's been around for a long time. Very excellent speaker. Make some noise for the man himself, Mr. Brian J. Good night, Perdmontemps. Good night, Perdmontemps.
Thank you. Straight from the vehicle to the podium. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, political leader of the National Democratic Congress, Mr. Deacon Mitchell, and Prime Minister in waiting, Deputy Political Leader, Mr. Adrian Thomas, all other members on the platform this evening, ladies and gentlemen, good night. I recognize tonight that you would have had several speakers already, and there are still others to come. And therefore, my discourse this evening will be short. I want to invite you tonight to ensure that the National Democratic Congress forms the next government from June 23rd. I say with confidence this evening that the National Democratic Congress is the only political party in Grenada with a clear and compelling vision, mission, and a strategy. I want you to hear me. The National Democratic Congress is the only political party with a clear, compelling vision, mission, and strategy. The National Democratic Congress has the team that is committed to bring about change. The National Democratic Congress has a deep resolve that change is necessary and that change to Grenada must happen, and that change must happen with the National Democratic Congress. And so tonight I invite you to join our political leader, Deacon Mitchell, and the rest of the candidates and all of the voting population of Grenada, and let us together move Grenada forward with the National Democratic Congress led by Deacon Mitchell. continue. I have said that the National Democratic Congress has the vision, the mission, and the strategy. They have a team capable of bringing the change, and they have the resolve to bring the change. And so for a few minutes, I want to engage your thoughts with the pie in the sky. All of us, if you have children, have experienced some sort of graduation. In my own experience, I have experienced in my own household about 20 graduations. And I've experienced that amount of graduation because I have 5 children. They graduate from pre-primary, they graduate from primary, they graduate from secondary, and they graduate from tertiary. I've also been invited to several graduations outside of my household. And so I want you to follow me. In each of these graduations, things are told to those graduates. They are being told that now that you have been graduated, aim for the sky. Now that you have graduated, shoot for the stars. Now that you have graduated, the world is your parish. Go conquer the world. Ladies and gentlemen, every time they make those statements, they are actually saying to those students that there is an opportunity somewhere out there. Go take that opportunity. The pie in the sky is all of the things that are necessary for Grenadians to experience. The pie in the sky is good health care that has been promised by the National Democratic Congress. The pie in the sky is an efficient, sustainable agricultural system that is promised by the National Democratic Congress. The pie in the sky is the sustainable jobs that are promised by the National Democratic Congress. We have one problem, because the other side does not understand this. They do not understand that there is indeed a pie in the sky, and they do not have the capacity to reach out to that pie and to bring it down to the level of every local man and woman in Grenada. I am saying to you tonight that the National Democratic Congress has the vision of that pie. They understand the mission, and they have the strategy. They have a well-experienced team ready to take that pie, and they have that deep resolve to bring that pie from the sky to the reach of every single one of you. And therefore, on June the 23rd, we are going to vote solidly for the National Democratic Congress to lead Grenada forward. I promise not to stay late, but I want to just share with you a vision of one of the pie in the sky. We have been told that agriculture is the backbone of our economy. Agriculture is necessary. We have been told to grow what you eat and eat what you grow. And yet, agriculture remains the bedrock of our healthy nation. We are basically what we eat. And if we eat healthy, we live healthy. And if we live healthy, the nation prospers. Because a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. So agriculture is absolutely necessary for this country. If you look closely, you'll find that the government of Grenada has acres of land all over the country. and not 1 acre of this land is being cultivated by the government, even if to show other farmers what a model farm should be like. But instead, it has been told to me that one of the NMP candidates made the remark that they will get those people that buy the passport, what do you call them? The citizens by investment, to buy or to invest in agriculture. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my deep opinion that if the people who comes and buy the passport was to get into our lands, then that will be the day that Grenada is voted down. They have the money, and especially in the country areas where the land is cheap, probably $1 a square foot, they will buy up all the land in one buy, and we will force to remain only in the roads and in the gap that we have towards our house. But hear this, we can develop our agriculture, and so one of the pie in the sky is a sustainable development of the agricultural product in this country. And NDC have expressed the great resolve to take agriculture to a higher level. And therefore, for the sake of our country, for the sake of our health, for the sake of our food, for the sake of our people, and for the sake of agriculture, we will vote solidly the National Democratic Congress. Folks, the thing ain't hard. It's not hard. It is very easy. And let me show you a simple thing that can happen. I am told that Grenada has 22,000 households, at an average of 5 persons per household. That gives us about 110,000 people. It is easy then, and probably if we need help, we can consult the Food and Nutrition Council and bring all the stakeholders together, sit together and plan the thing together. In each house, we must determine how much of each household is needed to feed each household. So we will determine how much lettuce it takes to feed 22,000 households. We will determine how much cabbage and tomatoes and carrots and those things it takes to feed 22,000 households. You would then determine where these crops can grow best around the island. You would gather the farmers together and in a very nice way set up the thing so that each sector of farming knows what they produce, how much yield we expect from them, and we put the necessary things in place in case something with the yield goes wrong. And then we can feed all of our people with agriculture. And ladies and gentlemen, when we plant, because we would yield more, we would then use the excess to earn a living and to bring much income to every single household or every household that farms in this country. So it's not easy, it's not hard. That pie in the sky is easy to reach. It amazes me that after all these years, agriculture remains in the doldrums. It amazes me that after Ivan St. Vincent had to feed us, that during the pandemic, we simply had to wait on boats to come in to still feed us. And we have all the lands waiting here. We accuse the young people of not wanting to plant the land. But we need to create the program, show them the vision, give them the incentives, and they will farm the land, and Grenada will benefit and move forward. And ladies and gentlemen, the National Democratic Congress is the only party that stands on a platform, that stands in the town hall, that stands on the wayside, and declares to you how easy it is to fix the agriculture in this country. That pie is real. reachable. So when they tell you it's a pie in the sky, tell them, all right, it's a pie in the sky, but it's a pie that we can reach, and it's going to be brought to our level, and each one of us is going to participate in that pie in the sky. It's no pie in the sky, it's a pie reachable. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a young, energetic leader ready to make it happen. This is Mr. Deacon Mitchell. And I stand resolutely and solidly behind him. I stand resolutely and solidly behind the National Democratic Congress, because I end this way. They have a clear vision, a mission, and a strategy. The National Democratic has the team. Ladies and gentlemen, hear me on this one part. I want you to look at the team of the National Democratic Congress. I want you to compare them one by one. And I want you to see that there is a group of experienced men and women ready to take Grenada forward. I thank you.
Yeah man, make some noise again for Brian. Ladies and gentlemen, there is something called systemic avoidance of reality. I think those guys are suffering with that. They're trying to mess with people's mind. The fact of the matter is, NNP doing stupidness. We're speaking in the local parlance. And the fact of the matter is, NDC is a party with the idea to move Grenada forward. So ladies and gentlemen, on that note, we have a gentleman born right here in St David. A matter of fact, he have family in Windsor Forest, isn't it? All you know who I'm talking about? All you know who I'm talking about? Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for our deputy political leader, Mr. Adrian Postuela Thomas.
Thank you very much, KG. What an environment, what an atmosphere. Somebody say rescue Grenada. Somebody say save Grenada. Somebody say develop Grenada. Somebody say Deacon Mitchell. A pleasant good night to the people of Perdmontemps. But before I start, my brothers and sisters, let me recognize the political leader of the National Democratic Congress and the candidate for St David, and in 5 days' time, the parliamentary representative for St David, Deacon Mitchell. Let me also recognize my good friend, all the way from New York, Brother Marvin Blaze. Stand and take a bow. Let people know who you are. This is one of the gentlemen, man that have been doing all the work in New York. Former ambassador, former minister, Brother Justin Whiteman. Sister Frances Bustler, all the way from New York, also working with us. Members of this executive branch of St David. Other speakers on the platform, Senator Rolanda McQueen, brothers and sisters, comrades all. Let me also say a pleasant good night to the people listening online. And I can also say a special good night to Sister Janice Coffey, I see her somewhere around. And my good friend, right along. I've also seen my good friend from New York, I just saw him a while ago there.
Jerry Hopkins.
Covered. Good night. Brother Jerry Hopkins. Brothers and sisters, it's a pleasure for me to be here tonight. And I want to say to you, what I've seen in Carriacou last night, and what I'm seeing here, and what I'm seeing in other constituency branches, my brothers and sisters, the wind of change is blowing, and it's blowing heavy. I know some of them was to pass here tonight, whether they're in green or whatever color, they will be asking you to be part of the Congress and be part of the change that are taking place, my brothers and sisters. Well, a couple of weeks ago, my brothers and sisters, I had to stand up. I had to stand up and take my position. And let the world, and let them know that I ain't going anywhere. With the propaganda machinery in place, and they spread my name all over the place. And when they did not succeed with that, my brothers and sisters, they invaded my privacy in my home. Even though I said to them loud and clear, via our program, our heartbeat program, and WeFM and other radio stations, even though I said to the good friends, I'm not going anywhere, they insist that they're going to spread the propaganda. But that didn't work. And so, my brothers and sisters, I stand here tonight as the Deputy Political Leader of the National Democratic Congress. I stand here as a committed member of the National Democratic Congress. I stand here to serve you, the people of St. David, and the wider community of Grenada, Carriacou, and Perdmontemps. I also stand here, my brothers and sisters, as Brother Claude outlined, and I have to endorse his statement because it's facts. A couple of months before, or weeks before the convention, he did endorse Brother Dickie Mitchell while we were still holding talks with him. And Brother Claude insists that Dickie Mitchell is the man. And I say to you, my brothers and sisters, it was not only Brother Claude that was giving us that kind of information and recommendation. Many people in many quarters were saying the same thing, brothers and sisters. Many people in the business community were saying the same thing. Many and thousands of workers in Grenada were saying the same thing, my brothers and sisters. The farmers was making a call when they heard we were talking to Brother Dickie Mitchell. They let us know that this man be the right man. So today, my brothers and sisters, this is a gentleman that Grenada, Carriacou, and Perdmontemps appreciates. They want to be in the seat come the 25th of June in the House of Parliament. And when Brother Mitchell, this good Mitchell, says that we're leaving the stage in Los Angeles from tomorrow, I hear some people say they live in the one in Grenville. And when we say that we're going to show people how to dress on nomination morning, so we're going to put on a suit, they may talk about that. But let them know, we have ordered 15 suits for the other candidates come June the 24th. And if it's suit they're afraid, they could take suits in the... My brothers and sisters, I know what the people want in this country. I've been around a long time. I know for a fact, my brothers and sisters, how much the people in Grenada supported the revolution. I know, my brothers and sisters, how we get that nostalgic feeling of the revolution and the programs of the revolution. I know, my brothers and sisters, the people are yearning to see better health care in Grenada. I know that the people want to see agriculture placed in its rightful position. I know that the people want themselves to be educated and their children to go to universities. That's the desire of the people. I know that Grenadians want to work. They are looking for work and they are employable. The people want that, my brothers and sisters. But over the years, the new National Party was not able to answer the cry of the Grenadian people. So this time around, the National Democratic Congress has put his house together. It has reconstructed the party. We have built the party. We have recruited new people, and we are ready to take the election come June the 23rd in 5 days' time. And those are the questions we have been answering, my brothers and sisters. Those are the questions that the people have been asking in some of these meetings. And our political leader has been answering them eloquently. So we're not making no bones about that, my brothers and sisters. In St. David in particular, I know for a fact that the programs that the political leader has outlined and the National Democratic Congress has outlined are programs that will fit in St. David. St. David's will get a fair share. I know you can compare what the present minister, the present MP is doing in St. David, and you're not satisfied. I know for a fact, my brothers and sisters, that people regret that they made that mistake 9.5 years ago. I know, my brothers and sisters, that the NDP has not satisfied the people of St. David. They have not answered the questions. They have not solved the problems in St. David. And while St. David's remain a virgin parish, the National Democratic Congress, my brothers and sisters, will develop this parish under the leadership of Dickie Mitchell. Brothers and sisters, no amount of lies, no amount of propaganda, no amount of money, no amount of toilets, my brothers and sisters, no amount of plywood, no amount of galvanized shit can save the new National Party this time around. Because the National Democratic Congress is like a real lion. It is ready, my brothers and sisters, to take Grenada from poverty and bring prosperity to the people of Grenada, Caribou, and Perdmontemps. So expect them to flood the area. Expect them to come in your home, my brothers and sisters, and things you don't ask them for, they will drop it at your doorstep. I know sometimes, as Grenadians, we have pride, and sometimes we are tempted to tell them, take the damn thing and go. But don't make that mistake. Because what they are bringing, my brothers and sisters, is the tax money. Is the tax money that I pay, and the political leader pay, and you pay, and your relatives pay. And when your family come from New York, and Canada, and England, the duties they pay on it, that's your dollar. So take it. We go eat them out, drink them out, and vote them out. They will be flooding this place, my brothers and sisters. But you know, despite all of what we are saying here, I've got a very soft heart for people. And I want to implore you, we have to accommodate the people who are left by the wayside. The people, our brothers and sisters, who have been supporting the other side for all these years, and they are not in a better position. Thank God they have just seen the light. And some people, sometimes, in our own selfish way, we are reluctant to accommodate them. But I want to make a special appeal to you, my brothers and sisters. We have to open our arms and embrace these people and say, thank God they have seen the light of the day. And I want to also make a clarion call and tell Mr. Oliver Joseph that it's not too late. It's not too late to drop the green jersey and come over to the to the National Democratic Congress, we will teach him a lesson if he comes here and he will understand what politics is all about. So we have room for Oliver Joseph. And I want each and one of you all to take a photo and put it up on Facebook. Let people see what is happening in Perdmontemps here tonight. Let the world see that the people of Grenada has come out in their thousands in a village meeting, because the change that they're crying for is here. Finally, in 5 days' time, the National Democratic Congress will form the government. Brothers and sisters, we have one political party, we have one vision, we have one mission. As I said to many people, we have been doing our work for months and years and making sure we make the National Democratic Congress a viable party. We have been putting structures in place. We have done our homework, my brothers and sisters. And I think that the Grenadian people have recognized the work that we have done. And that's the reason why they are coming out in the thousands every time we make an announcement of a meeting. Every time we talk about town hall meeting, they are showing up and they are discussing the issues, because they appreciate that the National Democratic Congress has finally come of age and ready to take Grenada forward. My brothers and sisters, it is now up to you. As I said to many of the people, we have beaten them badly in the poster business. Look at that picture there. Have you ever seen any NMP poster looking like that? We beat them bad there. I say to you, we beat them in the meetings. Have you seen any crowd like this in our meetings, in their meetings? I say we beat them bad in the Sunday rallies. I say we beat them bad with the jerseys. We have won all these rounds, and I'm warning you, the final round is on Thursday. I say we cannot afford for them to win the final round and take all. So you have a responsibility, my brothers and sisters, to make sure that you get up early in the morning and you're going to put your eggs by the heart. Vote for Dinka Mitchell in St David and all the other constituencies. Vote for the NDC candidate. And when you have completed that mission, my brothers and sisters, I am urging you to go back home. Sit down on your phone and call your friends and your family and find out from them. If they ain't going to vote yet, find their tail in the polling division and vote for the National Democratic Congress. If you don't do that, my brothers and sisters, mission will not be accomplished, and the 15 suits that we have ordered, those guys will not be able to win them. So it depends on you. But I'm confident, my brothers and sisters, that come June the 24th, the National Democratic Congress will be taking office in Grenada, Carrickmore, and Perdmontemps. And finally, my brothers and sisters, we will be putting this guy to rest. We'll be giving him retirement. I ain't sure if he qualifies for pension because he ain't paying the public servant. He's a public servant. But they're pre-retirement leave now, and come June the 24th, they will be put to finally rest, and the National Democratic Congress will be taking office. Long live the National Democratic Congress! Long live Comrade Dinka Mitchell! Long live the people of Perdmontemps! Forever! Forever! I thank you very much, my brothers and sisters. Oh yeah, make someone else for Mr. Posena, man. Ladies and gentlemen, the thing now is starting to get nice. Are you ready for some entertainment? Are you ready for some entertainment? Well, you know what? We have to give all this some entertainment before we bring on the next Prime Minister of Grenada. So, ladies and gentlemen, there is a gentleman from Coles here. His name is Hammer. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome
thank you. How are you feeling tonight? Nah, that song don't sound like the Democratic Congress people. That don't sound like yellow people. I say, how are you feeling tonight? You better sing now. Somebody put up something in there. If I say for a nice government, and I like to vote. Jump it through, Mr. DJ. Well, they say, I am to what I am. They say, it's the truth but still. Well, so, we bring the young lion deeper to show you on over the hill. The people complaining, the tired get hell. So we bring them in jail, to move from in jail. We put him in garbage. Oh, we put him in garbage. Hold on, Mr. DJ. I want them to sing the thing with me. We go have a good time tonight, right? Yellow, yellow, yellow! Yellow people, what you do? Let me make some noise, man. Listen, this thing going all over the world right now. Everybody in Grenada seeing it through Facebook and everything. We gonna show the green people and them power tonight. And I need to show the green people power. Yellow power. Put your hands in the air. Drop it, Mr. DJ. Hands up, hands up, hands up. They say, it's the truth but still. Well, so, we bring the young lion to show you one over the hill. When people complaining, the tired get hell. So we bring out the chair to move from the chair. We put it in the chair. Only put it in the chair. Only put it in the chair. Only put it in the chair. Come and sing, start for possessing. See just a potent, see mention coming. You don't want the people to eat but make shell. Imagine them was short, think of the chair. Well, they say, this lion only got. They say, his master is big. So we bring the young simmer to chase his old wagon spin. Everybody saying, we under a spell. So we bring out the chair. What we doing? We put it in the chair. Take us up. Put your hands up! Put your hands up! I want to see everybody! Everybody, Mr. Cameraman! Mr. Cameraman, take a picture! Put your hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Hands in the air for the eagle! Hands in the air! Put him up! 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 Thank you! They're moving on the chair. They say, if we can't tell you, keep on this on the chair. The gun, the niggas in trouble. The man is just money. The truth in the air. So we want this picture. Take out the chair. Take out the chair. Take out the chair. Take out the chair.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, who are we voting for? Mr. Deacon, I want you to get up. I want you to get up and look at it first. Ollie, watch this man here. Oh, you say you better looking at me? Oh, you say you better looking at me? Alright, that's okay. No. Brent, behave yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, this man will be the next Prime Minister of Grenada. Not only that, let me tell you all something. I want to see all who prayed for Deacon Mitchell. No, I'm very serious. Powder. I want to see who praying for Deacon Mitchell. Put all your hand in there. All who praying for Deacon, put all your hand in there. I know your mother love you a lot. Satan love you, bad. And you know we love you. So ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for the next Prime Minister of Grenada. The next Prime Minister of Grenada, Karaku and Perdmontemps.
Good night, Perdmontemps. Good night, Perdmontemps. It looks like you already want to go straight to Las Angeles already. So let me start with some housekeeping. Wow, you see how Perdmontemps is special because we've had meetings all over. And we've never had a packed audience behind the podium as we have tonight. And we've never had people coming from one road, top road, middle road, bottom road. So it shows that you're pumped. It shows that you're ready. It shows that we are ready. We are ready to move St. David. We are ready to move St. David. Good. Let me start with the thank yous. Let me recognize my colleague, my friend, my mentor. I'm a good time partner from Clarico, but he's taken up official residence in St. David. He spent more time in Cocody Mountain than any other place. Brother Anselm Clouden for his wonderful presentation and endorsement. And let me say this. When I was training to become a lawyer, and I didn't know many lawyers in Grenada, and Mr. Clouden probably didn't even know me at the time. He opened his chambers for me during the summer. That time he was at the top of Church Street, opposite Convent, and I had the wonderful opportunity to spend time at his chambers in the summer. And let me say, he's done this not only for me, but he's done it for many of the lawyers who you see in Grenada. From Mr. Ali Salim Miguel to our very own Mr. Derek Sylvester, we've all come through Mr. Clouden's chambers. So Mr. Clouden, unlike some people, you don't have to search for your legacy. Your legacy lives in people like me and Mr. Derek Sylvester. Former Member of Parliament for St. David, former Minister of Government, and former Ambassador, Mr. Jocelyn Whiteman. Even without me asking Mr. Whiteman, Mr. Whiteman took on his own from the time I was elected the political leader of the National Democratic Congress, without me asking. And he's gone around the length and breadth of St. David, campaigning on my behalf, asking people to support me, delivering hampers even in my name when I didn't ask him to do so. And that's the hallmark of someone who is a true patriot. And I want to say one other thing about Mr. Whiteman. everywhere I've gone throughout St David. Whether it's Rukin, whether it's Dunmar, whether it's Malmont, whether it's Pomrose, whether it's Mondelez, all of the residents talk about the fact that Mr. Whiteman even today comes back to visit them and comes back to look for them and still spend time in their communities. And we have to learn, I have to learn from the examples set by our seniors. So Mr. Whiteman, that is one lesson that I intend to take with me, and I pledge here to the people in Perdmontemps, to the people of St David, and the people of Grenada, that not only me, but all of the candidates who you will elect as members of Parliament of the National Democratic Congress will be coming back and remaining in our communities to make sure that we are constantly engaging and consulting with you so that you have the representation that you deserve. KJ, you the MC, I'm going to thank you for all of the work that you've been doing in all of the pocket meetings. I would also say this, KJ is a familiar voice and radio personality in Grenada. Again, unsolicited. After I got involved, I met with KJ and he pledged his support with no conditions attached. He's never asked for anything. And he has, throughout the process, spoken, walked with me. He's been the chairman for all of our pocket meetings. And KJ, I want to publicly thank you for your support, for your encouragement, for your prayers. And you represent what many of the persons have been doing. There is no Deacon Mitchell without teamwork. There is no me without you. And so all of the persons who volunteered and continue to volunteer, like KJ, I want to publicly thank you here in Perdmontemps for all of your hard work. Former Senator, businesswoman, philanthropist, and Grenadian patriot, Senator Rolanda McQueen. I want to publicly thank you for all of your support. And as she said, even before I became the political leader of the National Democratic Congress, we were speaking about the changes and the improvements that Grenada needed. And she pledged her support that once we got involved, and that once we were serious, and that once we were committed to transforming Grenada, she would support us. And she hasn't just stayed in the background, she's appeared on the platform, she has produced the transformation water. And let me say this, again, this was her idea, it was not mine. I didn't ask her. She took on her own and she voluntarily used her resources to create this. And it demonstrates her commitment to the cause, her commitment to nationalism, her creativity, and the kind of persons we need to champion throughout the length and breadth of Grenada to make sure that Grenada and Grenadian businessmen, and in particular Grenadian women, are supported, encouraged, and that we hold them upon a pedestal as an example to other Grenadian women that they too can be a Rolanda McQueen and they too can take part in the transformation of Grenada. Brother Mason, and I want you all to recognize something when I'm finished. Brother Mason, now Brother Mason may not have told you that, but as a retired trade unionist, in my former life as a lawyer, many times we were sitting on the opposite side of the table, and we were both doing our best and fighting for the best interests of our respective clients. Brother Mason for the union and the workers he represented. Me oftentimes for the employer. But we always conducted our business with mutual respect. We always conducted our business knowing that both of us were doing our jobs for our respective constituents. But throughout that process, I always knew that as a trade unionist, that Brother Mason had the best interests of the workers and the company and the businesses that the workers work in, because he recognized if the business fails, the workers fail. And if the workers fail, the business fail. And so it is not workers against employers or employers against workers, but all of us in it together. And so I want to thank him. I want to thank him for not only coming on the platform tonight, but on the several occasions that he's done so. And he exemplifies that in Grenada, that we must, despite our differences, despite the fact that sometimes we are on opposite sides of the table, we must recognize that the country and the affairs of the country is more important than our individual interests or the individual sectoral interests. And when it comes to building our nation, we must put aside our differences after the competition is over and work together for the growth, improvement, development, and transformation of our country. And so, Brother Mason, I want to publicly thank you and thank all of the trade unions, all of the workers who recognize that the interests of Grenada comes first. And that if you have someone like me who's offered to put the interests of Grenada first, and who's offered a progressive and transformative agenda for Grenada, that we should all work together to make that happen. So brothers, thank you very much for your support. Brian, you have delivered, thank you, someone, I was beginning to wonder what was happening. Brian, you have delivered a number of stirring speeches at our pocket meetings. And I want to publicly thank you for that work, as well as the work you've done for the National Democratic Congress over the years. I also want to thank you for your work as a pharmacist, a basketball coach, and a spiritual leader. And you have delivered some profound speeches at the pocket meetings. And I think that again demonstrates to the citizens of Grenada that when we bring speakers on the National Democratic Congress platform, we are bringing persons who talk about the issues, who talk about the solutions, and who demonstrate that when we say we need to teach our children to dream big, when we say we need to encourage our children to dream big, that is the only way in which they can aspire and achieve their goals. We are not educating our children to tell them to settle for less. We are not educating our children to tell them to settle for safe. We are not educating our children to tell them to settle for safer hands. We are educating our children to tell them, dream big, work hard, achieve more, surpass your parents, surpass your grandparents, and encourage the next generation of Grenadians to make Grenada a better place than you found it. So Brian, thank you very much for your encouragement. Thank you very much for the speeches you've delivered. Sister Francis Postle, I haven't forgotten you. I will simply say thank you for all of the hard work, all of the encouragement, all of the work you've done behind the scenes to make this process easier and to ensure that on the 23rd of November, 23rd of June, I don't know why I keep saying November, there's a November thing going on the 23rd of June, 2022, all of us here in St David, all of us here at Perdmontemps Junction, take St David back, bring it back to the heart, and make sure that we pump the lifeblood that we need into St David's to jumpstart the economy in Grenada, to jumpstart the education system in Grenada. And Buddy, to make sure that you will never have to film a video again to show that Perdmontemps have the highest concentration of potholes if you're driving on the main road in Perdmontemps. So maybe the Jamaican they fly into a helicopter straight into wherever she went. But clearly they didn't drive in Perdmontemps. And this is not a side road. This is not a by road. It is not a footpath. It is a main road, a main artery, and it is a crime. Even with a couple days left before election, they do not even have the shame to attempt to fix the road. That is not safer hands, that is pothole hands. So tell them, when we talk about transforming Grenada, you can't have roads and don't have a public works system in place to maintain the roads. You can't have roads and don't have a public works systems in place to clean our drains. And road maintenance cannot go on 2 and 3 months before election. We are using the roads all the time. They are having bigger and heavier vehicles on the road all the time. And therefore the road needs maintaining all the time. To the Deputy Political Leader of the National Democratic Congress, Mr. Adrian, I'm persuaded, Thomas. I want us to appreciate something. There are people who serve their political organization, who serve their constituency, and who serve their country. And they do not need office or position or title to do so, because they are interested in service. They're not interested in title. They are interested in service. They are not interested in office. They are interested in improving people. They are not interested in their ego. And Brother Adrian Thomas has made, when called upon to do so, tremendous sacrifices on behalf of the National Democratic Congress and on behalf of the people of St. David's and the people of Grenada. And so I want to publicly thank him for his service, to let him know that the National Democratic Congress is way better off because of him, that the people of St. David's are way better off because of him, and that ultimately the people of Grenada will be better off because of his unselfish and unyielding commitment to nation building. He could have disappeared after he didn't win the elections, but he did not. He stood firm, he stood fast, and because of him, we have the deputy political leader and the political leader of the National Democratic Congress coming out of this parish. And I've said before, whenever change and whenever serious and positive change is coming to Grenada, it always starts in this parish of St. David. So we know that the rally in La Sagesse on the 23rd, listen to me, the rally in La Sagesse on the 23rd of June, not the Sunday, the rally in La Sagesse on the 23rd of June will be the history-making celebration rally. Because if change is going to come, if history is going to be made, if progress is going to be brought to Grenada, we know the Virgin Parish of St. David will be the parish to begin and initiate that change. And so the same way this parish has produced the political leader and the deputy political leader of the National Democratic Congress, it is the same way this parish is going to produce a Prime Minister that is committed to transforming Perdmontemps, Carriacou, and Grenada. And finally, I want to thank all of you. It's probably what, 10 o'clock? Dead 10. It's 10 o'clock. And the size of the crowd speaks about how excited, how enthusiastic, how committed, how fired up you are to be the change that you want to see in Grenada. So we know that this is just the beginning. We know that as Grenadians, that you are committed to building your country. We know that you are committed to volunteering to help a neighbor. We know that you are committed to volunteering to teach a child. We know you are committed to building our villages, to building our parishes, to improving our healthcare, to transforming our agriculture. And so the system of government that this National Democratic Congress will bring is a system of government that focuses on the people that it must serve. And so when I say, and I'm going to repeat tonight, that within 3 months of forming the government, our ministers and our members of parliament must come back to the people and report to them. We will honor that commitment because we are not in government to serve ourselves. We are not in government to serve our families. We are in government to serve the people. And so I want you, the people, to ensure that you keep us to that commitment, that you hold our fire to the feet, our feet to the fire, and ensure that we represent you, that we put the interests of the villages and our communities first, and that we make sure that come the 24th of June, we begin the process of transforming our politics. We begin the process of transforming our politics. As citizens, we should not accept politicians, particularly our leaders, openly lying to us. And then 3 or 4 years after, because an election cycle is coming, pretend they never said what they said. We should not accept the state of the roads in Perdmontemps and do nothing about it. We have a parliamentary representative. We know where his office is. And if the state of the roads are as they are, the duty is on us to get up, to mobilize, to organize, and walk to the parliamentary office and knock on the door and say, I elected you as the MP. I did not elect you to leave our roads in the state areas, and I demand that you fix the road. And if you're in a party that you have no say, and they are not committed to fixing our roads, to repairing our schools, to repairing our medical stations, to providing the healthcare services that we need, we should be prepared to stand in the parliamentary office and say, we are not leaving here until we get the satisfaction that we came for, or until the government services are delivered to us. So not because you elect us into office means the only time you can exercise your power is 5 years from now. The days for that are over. You have to exercise your power and your freedom all the time. If we are behaving in a manner that is not acceptable, you have to let us know and tell us that immediately. Don't wait for election time, because by then it is too late. There are a lot of young people here, and so I want to spend a little time speaking directly to you. If our education system was doing what it was supposed to do, there would not be an Imani program. If our education system was doing what it was supposed to do, there would not be any money program. But it has not done so. And an NDC administration will transform the education sector in Grenada. Education is supposed to serve the needs of the people. That is why it exists. And at the end of the day, we must eat, we must live, and we must grow. And the only way to do that is to have a productive society. And the only way to have a productive society is to have a productive people. And the only way to get a productive people is to have an educated people. And education is not book sense. Education is not paper. Education is creativity. Education is solving problems. Education is skills training. Education is computer literacy. And we live in the digital age. Education means we must be able to use technology to solve the problems that we have. And so when we say to your young people, we will introduce coding and programming in the education system, that is because we recognize coding and programming is going to become the third language that people speak throughout the world. And we need to equip our young people to speak that language so that they can work in the digital world and they can earn sustained incomes right here in Grenada. Because once you have the skill set, you don't need to travel to work. You don't even need to leave your home to travel to work. All you need is your computer and reliable internet access. And one of the things about technology, as I'm sure we all know as parents, the younger you are, the better you are at it. I'm sure most parents know that if they give their kids their phone, they can do things with the phone you can't even contemplate. So when we say we need to make sure that our children don't just consume the technology, we want them to make the technology as well. So when we say we'll introduce coding and programming, it's because if you're a coder or a programmer, you are not going to end up in the money program because you will have the skill set that will allow you to be employed by the time you're 12, 13, 14. In fact, you might even want to finish school because you'll be making the kind of money that people can make throughout the world. For our parents whose children like music and who could sing and who could dance and who want to beat a drum or play a guitar or play a piano, music isn't a pastime. It isn't a side thing. It isn't a hobby. The music industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And you all may not have heard Mandela Link say it in Guelph. But Mandela Link made the point that he doesn't do anything else except music. That is how he makes his living. And we need to encourage our children who have that passion to realize that they too can make a living in the music industry. That they don't have to work construction and then try to do music on the side. And the National Democratic Congress intends to expand and explode our music industry and our creative arts so that our young people know that being a musician is a full-time career and you don't have to worry that you'll be scorned upon or frowned upon or discouraged. For young people who are athletes, whether you play football, cricket, basketball, track and field in particular, we want you to know that you can have a full-time career in sports. And we have the obvious example of our Kirani James. And he came out of Grenada notwithstanding that there was little or no support for his talent. We must end that and transform that. The Jamaicans don't produce these track stars by accident. They don't drop out of the sky. It is because Jamaica has a machinery in place that produces track star after track star after track star because they put the facilities, they have the coaches, and they invest in their people. And if we want to encourage our young men and women to engage in sports, we too need to do the same. And I've said it. National Lotteries Authority, that is where your money will be going, into supporting our sportsmen, our sportswomen, and in supporting our arts, culture, and entertainment. But I want to make one final point to our young people. We should never have leaders. We should never have leaders who tell you that you should not aim for the sky. We should never have leaders who tell you that you are not the future. We should never have leaders who refuse to mentor and grow successors. We should never have leaders who, after being elected into office for 38 consecutive years as a member of parliament, leave their constituency worse than how they found it, by having a main road fall into the sea, and up to now it has not been repaired, and the election will come and go and it will not be repaired. So if you want to measure the legacy of your leader, you can ask yourself this question: 38 years ago, could you drive from St. George's to St. Patrick without having to go through Mount Morris? The answer was no. Let me ask the question again. 38 years ago, could you drive from St. George's to St. Patrick without having to go through Mount Morris? No. Well, 38 years later, can you drive from St. George's to St. Patrick without having to go through Mount Morris? Yeah. Yes. Is that progress? Is that progress? So to our young people, we want you to elect people who will progress and move Grenada. Forward. Progress and move Grenada. Forward. And so I can guarantee the people in St. George's Northwest that when you elect this Mitchell, we will redeem the last name Mitchell so that all Mitchells in Grenada can be proud of the name, and we will fix the road in the Northwest so that we can tell you, you can drive from St. George's to St. Patrick's, and that will be progress. So make no mistake, despite the entertainment, despite the good feeling, despite the massive crowd here tonight, as the deputy political leader says, this week is the last round in the boxing match. We've won all 9 rounds so far. This is the final round. This is the final round. And I'm a fan of boxing. And we don't want to win the final round and in the 10th round the man who's been beaten up fire while shot and catch us off guard. And to ensure that doesn't happen, the polls open very early. The polls open very early. Whether the line is long, whether the line is short, whether the line is in between, join the line. Stay in the line. Go inside the voting booth with confidence. Let me repeat that. Go inside the voting booth with confidence. Do not let no Indo agent and no presiding officer intimidate you. Do not let no Indo agent and no presiding officer intimidate you. Hold the pencil with confidence. In fact, give the pencil a caress. Let the pencil know you've been waiting for this moment a long, long time. And make sure that you put that X next to the beating heart. Next, in fact, you will see the heart beating, it will be jumping up, it will be coming off the paper. So make sure you put the X next to the beating heart. Stay in your index finger. Don't worry, that's good timing. He too put in the X next to the beaten heart. And remember, we have to redeem the name Mitchell. So he too has to benefit from the redemption of the name Mitchell. And when you finish, stain your finger. And if you have to come back and stay in line to hold a position for somebody who come in, stay in line and hold the position. Because by midday, we have 5 hours. By midday, we want every single supporter of the National Democratic Congress to have voted already in St. David. So let me repeat that. By midday, we want every single supporter of the National Democratic Congress to have voted already. And after we've done that, if it means we have to go and help our brothers and sisters in South St. George with transportation, our brothers and sisters in the Northeast with transportation, let us go and do it. So we are from Monday to Thursday, and those days are called Get Out the Vote days. Go TV, Get Out the Vote days. We must bring out, get out the vote. Whether they're hiding under the house, under the bed, in a crab hole, wherever, find them, grab them, and make sure we bring the vote out. Because I've said, the stage going up on Sunday, and it is staying up until Thursday. And I ain't making this up. I'm not making this up. A man from Providence, that's where he come from, called me last week, and he said, I'm in Istanbul, Turkey. So I said, well, where you calling from halfway around the world for? He said, partner, I standing in a store here, and I never see suit like that in my life. So send me a size, because I'm flying the suit all the way from Istanbul, Turkey, into Grenada. So make sure that come the 24th, all 15 of us suit up as we begin to move Grenada. Thank you, Perdmontemps, you have been wonderful.
Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for we Prime Minister. Yeah. DJ. Hello there. Yeah, man, so we're moving forward, right? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, you've been a really nice audience. Here what's going on. It's very important. As I always say, and I will continue to say, Deacon don't know everything. No politician know everything. He might be brilliant, but he don't know everything. So I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, hold on. I want you to come up and ask your questions or give your suggestions, because they will be used or they could be used. So don't underestimate yourself, the potential you have. Sometimes the ideas what you have is so brilliant. So ladies and gentlemen, you're getting the chance to come and make a comment or ask your questions to get clarification. So the mic is open for you and yours. So come out and ask your question. And by the way, anybody, no alcoholic beverages should be appearing on the stage. Nobody drinking alcoholic beverages should appear on the stage. Plus, please, with your comments and your questions, be respectable. The whole world is watching, and let's respect each other. You can come up and ask your questions, okay? Thank you so much. So the mic is open, come up and ask your question.
On to another question. Mr. Mitchell was the greatest man he went apart and St David. What a saying! This Mitchell, people say this Mitchell is a paragon sometimes. We don't start in them. We don't start in them. Want to win it? We have to put it in your crack. Put it in the crack and smell it.
Ladies and gentlemen, questions. Let's come up and get some questions. People, come up and ask your question and give your suggestions, okay?
Good night to everyone. Now, one question I want to ask the political leader and the members of his team. Now, in the past, I heard people that say they are prophets or get messages to bring for our past leaders, whether it's to have day of prayer or whatever it is, and they ignore them. But I want to ask you, if such occasions should arrive, would you accept it and do as they recommend, or would you ignore them? And secondly, what place will God have in your leadership? If you, when, I shouldn't say if, but when you get into Parliament. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I'll take the second question first. We can't have God when we get into office. We have to have God all the time. So the role he's playing is not just post getting into office. For us to get into office, we need him. So God is central to all of this. We are going to have a day of prayer. It's going to be on Tuesday. It's going to be in the south of the island. We're going to be having a candlelight meeting in Grenada. Details will come, so I can certainly assure you, outside of that public candlelight vigil on Tuesday, that there are several hundred prayer warriors throughout the length and breadth of Grenada who've been praying for the National Democratic Congress, but crucially praying for Grenada and praying for Grenadians. So you can be assured that we have no intention of ignoring the prayers or the well wishes of our prayer warriors. Thank you.
Hi, good night. My focus basically is, I'm not a youth no, right? But we used to be youth focused in terms of basketball, cricket, football, right? I want to know, because in the reigning administration had promised us that there's basketball court, netball court, and wherever. Right? And looking at the proposed, you see, well, you see what going on. So I want to know what the formulas are women. Because we really need a basketball court. I'm not young no more. Right? We knew that we did. I mean now is yet there, but it's not really processes to maintain. I don't like it. I want to see the youths grow. That the thing that I missed, that they could have it. Right? So I want to know what in when you fuck the government, what plans are for the youths have beaten and
All right, thank you very much for the question. The question is, for those who may not have heard it clearly, what are our plans to address the youth, particularly as it relates to sporting facilities? And that's why we talk about the National Lotteries Authority. Many of the villages in St David in particular do not have any sporting facilities. Outside of the pastures, you have, for example, no outdoor gyms, you have no playpens for kids, you have no basketball court, no tennis court, no netball courts. You know, we can go on and on. And so that's one of the areas we will address, providing those facilities to ensure that our young people have access to them. But I want to go a little further, because we don't just need the facilities. We need to ensure that we have programs that allow our young people to actually play the sports, play the basketball, play the tennis, play the football, play the cricket. But we've said we will provide the facilities, but we intend to make sports and the playing of sports mandatory in schools. But outside of that, and this is where the fall takes place, when they leave school at 16 years old, if we do not have sporting clubs, if we do not have sporting groups that they can join when they come out of school to continue playing the basketball, continue playing the tennis, continue playing the football and cricket, they will fall into the rum drinking, they will fall into the weed smoking, they will get a construction job by the wayside, and then they will give up playing the sports. So we need to have not just sports in school, we have to transition that by making sure that we bring back the village clubs, the community groups, the sporting groups as well. But I agree with you, if you don't have the facilities for them to play, you also will not be able to have the sporting groups or the community groups. So they all go hand in hand. And that helps to keep our youth disciplined, it helps to keep them fit, it helps to address the health issues that we have, and it's a good opportunity for the young people in particular to allow and to interact with our senior citizens by helping them to become fit as well. Because if you have the facilities, then we can get the young people to go walking with our senior citizens, to help them with therapy, to help some of those who get strokes and so on with their therapy after they've had those kinds of incidents. So that's part of why we need the community groups, why we need the sporting groups. So thank you for the question.
My name is Jerry Simon. My father died of cancer. We have the most nutmeg in Grenada, Perdmontemps. The point is, there is nobody checking at me to get a road to go to the office. Secondly, we have So I'm saying to you, what would you do to get a road to go in the becoming nutmeg? Secondly, not only becoming nutmeg, I want to know pruning. My father said the first grain of nutmeg after Ivan. All the nutmeg pools up. Well, I want to know because I want to do an audit. They rented all the nutmeg pools belong to the bakery. Okay. I have to go if I don't want transport. I have to go if I don't want transport and to rent a transport to go to send it up. My father said the first commando bank after Ivan down in Lagoon Road, they create an environment for it to sell the first commando bank. I want to know once you come in for how we will address this situation. I'm a nutmeg farmer. My father died, and Jerry Simon is a man that grew in the mountain. Clove, nutmeg, spices. We need to get an environment where we could develop this environment. I have one child, one wife, and I need to get this environment in a good order. Of all the lands, nutmeg lands, all my property money. Where they come? I can't say make it. My intention recently was to buy a donkey. Why? Why? Because I get old. And my father died. He recently just came back to me and said to me, don't give it up. have, and they don't just speak about that. Everybody here testify to that. The most nutmeg in Grenada can be my people.
Thank you for the questions, and thank you for the passionate way in which you presented the questions. So, let's start with GCNA, the nutmeg pool. So, first of all, GCNA is a statutory body. The government only has 3 representatives on it. The other 6 are farmers, or ought to be farmers. Now, the closing down, so I'm giving you what I've been told. The closing down of the nutmeg pools, or the renting of them in St David, has been done because the assertion is that the farmers in St David's are not producing as much nutmegs as required to justify the opening or the keeping open of the nutmeg pools. That's what I've been told. So that's the position I understand of GCNA. But I'm saying, even if that's the case, GCNA can come to you to collect the nutmegs. Right? And that is what I mean when I talk about making things easier for our people. If they feel that it's too costly to keep all of the pools open because they're not getting enough supply, one way of solving that is you have a mobile truck, you have a truck that comes to the people so that you don't have to incur the cost of transportation of bringing the nutmeg to Lagoon Road, and they can pick the nutmegs up. And that's a simple, straightforward solution. You could have days on which you announce when the trucks are coming, and the trucks could come and pick the nutmeg up. So it's a question of are you seeking the interests of the farmers or not? And I'm saying if you're seeking the interests of the farmers, you come to the farmers if you've closed all the pools and collect the nutmeg. And so the farmers don't have to incur the cost of coming to them. That's one way. But let me talk about the roads. Now I'm sure you've heard about the farm feeder road project that the government should have been running years and years on. But you see, if the Member of Parliament, if the Minister of Agriculture is not interacting directly with the farmers, if they're not coming and walking the ground with you, they wouldn't know where the roads are. They wouldn't know where the farms are. So they either will be depending on somebody else, or they just wouldn't know or wouldn't care. And so, regardless of the fact that you have the nutmegs and the lands, and you need an access road, they wouldn't know. And then second, there is no method for you to convey that information to them. So they wouldn't know. That is why we have meetings like this. So I can come to you and tell you, show me where the nutmeg land is. Let me get people from the Ministry of Works. Let me get people from the feeder road projects to go with us. Satisfy us that you have the nutmeg lands and we need the roads in truth. And then we build the roads. It's as simple as that. That is how government should function. There is no mystery to it. There is no science to it. But if you are not having meetings like that, if we are not communicating, if there is enough forum for us to interact, then I will know you have nutmeg lands. You will never be able to tell me the challenges you're facing, and I will never be able to address them. So let me say this. I've been advocating, finally, that I intend to embark upon a national replanting, pruning, and enhancing of all our spices. So all of the spices that you maintain, that you talked about, throughout St David in particular, because we have the mountain ranges. We can't Bokano taking over. We need to replant our spices. We need to make Grenada the Isle of Spice again. Because at the end of the day, that is the legacy that this generation and another generation can continue inheriting. And let us make this clear. Spice doesn't grow anywhere. Spice does not grow anywhere. We have a natural, competitive, God-given advantage. And you should never walk away from what that God-given competitive advantage is. In fact, you should be trying to enhance it by researching and by producing more and finding more spices that can grow more. So thank you very much for your questions.
I want to just ask one question. So Deacon, how would you incorporate, right, the school system, the education system, even involve the church and even non-governmental organization in terms of the national pride and plus the media, which is the first estate? How would you incorporate those entities
to make Grenadians more proud?
But thank you for the question. KJ, to me it's simple. We have to lead by example. If you want to make your people proud, you have to act in a manner that makes them proud of the people who are leading them. That's the starting point. Second, we have to, particularly our children, we have to educate Grenadians about Grenada's history. Grenada has a remarkable, extraordinary history. We have done things in this small island no other small island in the Caribbean or even in the world has done. And so sometimes I think we take things for granted. I'll give this example. I'm sure Indonesia has never produced, with almost 1 billion people. I'll go and do the research, but if I'm a betting man, I'm sure Indonesia has never produced a gold, silver, and bronze Olympic medals. But do we walk around feeling proud of that achievement? View it how you wish. No other country in the Caribbean, in the English-speaking Caribbean, has been invaded by the great United States of America. We understand that what that means? It means that at some point in time in Grenada's history, it was the center of world attention. So we have to teach those things so that our people understand the profoundness of what our history is and why we are a special place, why we deserve to be confident. When you leave Grenada and you travel anywhere, I'll give you an example. If you're Jamaican, do you know who they identify as Jamaican? Bob Marley. If you're Grenadian, do you know who they identify as Grenadian? Maurice Bishop. Because he's an international iconic figure, the equivalent of a Bob Marley. So we have to understand how profound our history is. And we need to teach that in our schools. And we need to get our civic groups, our churches, our NGOs to understand that. So as far as I'm concerned, there should be Kirani James billboards all over Grenada. And they should be maintained. And his achievements, and every time he runs a race, we should have it up on public big screen so that our people feel proud and back him. That's the kind of thing we need to do. When our artists are traveling and performing, people should know that. That is how we build the pride. That is how we build confidence in our people so that they know we are in fact special. And that we've achieved great things despite the challenges we face. But when our education, and that's why our education system has to change. Honestly, I mean, we make fun of it, but teaching us about Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria is a complete waste of time. Right? So we need to appreciate that to make our people proud, we have to educate them about our Grenada's history, educate them about our culture, and continuously do so. We can't do it for 5 years and then stop. We have to continuously do so. Thank you.
Yeah, good night everyone. I just want to find out, when you get into office, I want to find out what you will do to help Grenadian citizens to get to Canada without having to visit, without having to get visa.
Very good question. You know, we at one time could have traveled to Canada visa-free. It is because of actions taken by the incumbent government, the scandal of the offshore banking sector, and these associated things that led to visa restrictions being imposed on Grenadians. And that's another example. You see, when I talk about 38 years ago, you could have traveled off the West Coast without having to take decoys. 38 years ago, you could have traveled to Canada freely without visas. 38 years later, you need a visa because of actions all leaders took. That's not progress. That's regression. So the reality is we now have to negotiate with the Canadians and satisfy them that Grenadians are no risk to the Canadian system. And satisfy them, and this is important. Foreign countries are always worried that if you come to their country, you're coming to stay because you're running away from your country. If we build Grenada if we make Grenada productive, if we transform Grenada, they will know that when we go to Canada, we're just going for vacation. They will know that when we go to Canada, we are just going for vacation and we are not trying to run away from Grenada and we are not trying to store away or remain illegally in Canada. And if you do that, then the need for visa and visa restrictions tend to lift, because wealthy countries don't impose visa restrictions among themselves because they know people are not running away from England to go to Canada, and Canadians are not running away from England to go to Canada. So outside of just negotiating with them, if we build our society, if our people are not running to line up in an embassy to get visas, they would quickly realize that there is no threat, no harm, no danger, and us not overstaying our time, and they will lift the visa restrictions. So thank you.
Yes, how would you treat with a member of parliament not being a minister, and he will be in charge of his constituency? How would he deal with it? Because everything is the minister and not the constituency.
The question is, how will we treat with members of parliament who may not be ministers? Because everything seems to focus on the ministers. And that is a very important question. And part of changing our politics requires us to address this. People elect members of parliament. The Prime Minister selects the ministers. But for members of parliament to function effectively, the members of parliament elected members of parliament must be given the resources to function in their constituencies. So under an NDC administration, if you are a member of parliament, we will ensure, and I want you all to listen to me, whether you are a member of parliament from NDC or a member of parliament from another party, if you are elected by your constituents to represent them, we will ensure that we pass the necessary legislation to give you a budget. That budget will be known to your constituents. That budget will allow you to have a constituency office. And we expect you to manage and spend that budget in your constituency so that your constituents can hold you accountable. And they will be able to compare the member of parliament for St David against the member of parliament for St John. And if both of you get a budget and you see St David's flying high and St John is going nowhere, then your people will know whether or not you are performing as their member of parliament. And that has nothing to do with whether or not you are government minister. So it makes no sense to elect someone as an MP and give them $1,500 a month and expect they will be able to do anything in the constituency. They will not. And we must change that. If we don't change that, all members of parliament will be trying to be ministers because they will feel the only way they can do something in a constituency is if they are a minister and they use their ministerial portfolio to back channel things into their constituency. The days for that is coming to an end under an NDC administration. And then we will know whether you have genuine representation from your MP or not. Because if opposition MPs get a budget as well and they are performing government MPs, then the public will be able to judge fairly who are the better MPs. And it makes electioneering, it makes campaigning much easier because you will have tools to measure the performance of your MPs by. And there's another reason why we want to do that. You see, this subjecting our citizens to go and line up in the hot sun and line up by bus stop to collect money from an MP as if it's the MP money, those days are coming to an end under an NDC administration. If you have a seed program which is taxpayers' money or grant money, and you have to give it to our senior citizens, it has to be given to them with dignity and with respect. They have a bank account. Put the money in the bank account directly for them. That way, you have to go and line up no step. You have to incur the bus price to go in the office to collect it. Put the money in the bank account so that our citizens have direct access to it, and you won't have to worry about nobody stealing the seed money or using it for their own personal purposes. So it is taxpayers' money. You're not doing our senior citizens a favor. They are entitled to the money. Give it to them with respect. Give it to them with dignity. So under the NDC administration, you have a bank account, the money is going straight to your bank. And frankly, since you have the names of the persons, and you should know where they live in, you should be able, if you can't put it in the bank account, to deliver the money to them at their homes, so that they have to line up and come and see trouble and stand up in the rain and the hot sun. So thank you very much for the question.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we come to the end of the question sector. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been a pretty good audience. Make some noise for yourself. Somebody say new Prime Minister. Somebody say Tika. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, just before we leave, if you have received a ticket, remember you can get a drink or so on from any of the shops around. And there is a bus somewhere there you can get a drink as well. Ladies and gentlemen, just before we leave, it's important for us to pray. I'm going to pray. Ladies and gentlemen, let's just recognize the Most High God. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to go rally tomorrow? You know we're going to have the biggest rally tomorrow. Somebody say Rasta. So we're having the biggest rally tomorrow. Alright, come out in your numbers tomorrow. Alright, but just before we leave, folks, let us pray. Let us pray.
Alright, thanks. The route for the rally starts in the south of the island. The route for the motorcade, starts in the south of the island. We travel up the west coast, up to St. Patrick, and then we come down St. Andrew, and we come to St. David. If you do not want to join from the south and make all the way around, you can join from Lambert Bridge around 3, and then we will journey down into Lassages. So let me repeat. You start in the south of the island tomorrow from 7 a.m. Tomorrow in the south, we're traveling through St. George's. Okay. We're traveling through St. George's up the west coast to St. Patrick.